How's it going, everyone? Fordham Firesides, the best Fordham podcast. I'm your host, Hank Michaels. I got Teddy with me again today.
What's going on, guys?
How's it going, Teddy?
It's going well. I can't complain.
Yeah, we got a quick one-shot episode today. A
One-shotter?
A one-shot, brief topic, and it is called the best show currently on television.
Yeah, I just want to say I don't necessarily back that claim, although I don't hate it. But Hank will let you give you his.
I think it is because there's a few other. All right, we haven't even said what the show is.
Yeah. It's really confusing though here. No, we're doing it in the middle. We're doing the in media res here with the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll explain it at the end what show it is.
Yeah. No, okay. What show is it? What show is it?
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. That's right. This is the Breaking Bad spin-off prequel show starring Saul Goodman, aka Jimmy McGill, the lawyer from Breaking Bad, and I love this show. And you and I,
great show.
We just watched it all the way through. I'd seen it. That was my second time. It was your first time.
Yeah.
You haven't even seen Breaking Bad.
I've seen 3.5 episodes of Breaking Bad, but
yeah, you're good start.
Yeah, and I'm getting in there. But
yeah, but it's it's fantastic. So before we get into it, we should probably discuss the other contenders for best show because I know there's people out there who are like sweating right now and screaming about Game of Thrones.
Definitely. At least 10 people are screaming about it.
But yeah, all 10 people that are watching this are like,
yeah,
they're really they love Game of Thrones and they're not happy. Well, here's the thing with Game of Thrones. I also love Game of Thrones, but I think Better Call Saul is consistently better. It's not like 10 times better. It's just consistent all the way through. And Game of Thrones, especially in the last season, has gone a little downhill. Not enough to like make me hate the show or think it's worse, but Better Call Saul does not have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, so I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Which always elicits reactions from people that are like, "Whoa, dude, you haven't seen Game of Thrones? Come on!" So I guess I can't argue that Better Call Saul is better than Game of Thrones, but I can argue that Better Call Saul is a great show.
Yeah, I guess one thing I can say to Game of Thrones credits is, and it's the same thing with Breaking Bad compared to Better Call Saul too, and it's the highs in Game of Thrones are far better than the highs in Better Call Saul. But just kind of throughout the entire show, I'm consistently entertained, and it's fun. But it has its dramatic moments.
It does.
It's got amazing characters. The two best characters from Breaking Bad, Saul and Mike, are the main characters in Better Call Saul.
Two great characters.
And they're incredible. They're even better than they were in Breaking Bad. Now, obviously, we won't get into Breaking Bad. Teddy has not seen it, so we don't want to spoil it too much.
No.
But we will talk about Better Call Saul. So why do you think this show is so great?
I mean, to me, it's very rewarding in that the characters are extremely likable. I would say Jimmy McGill, Saul Goodman, one of the most likable characters on television, despite his flaws. Yeah. Very endearing, relatable character, you know, kind of has this starts from nothing, you know, humble guy vibe to him. Like he's just trying to make his way in the world. Yeah. You know, might not be the smartest guy ever, but he's clever, tricky, and anyone can kind of like relate to that.
Yeah, he's got his flaws. And I will say, like, I think he's easily my favorite protagonist in any TV show because like Walter White's a great character, but you don't always like him that much. Jimmy, you always like him.
You have to root for him.
And I haven't seen The Sopranos, so I can't talk about Tony Soprano. You have.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite character. Okay. But he's different than Saul or Jimmy because there are definitely moments where you're like, this guy's just a terrible person. Yeah, like he kind of like reels you in sometimes, but then sometimes you're like, oh, I just hate this guy. Whereas there was no moment in Better Call Saul where I didn't like Jimmy McGill. Even though sometimes I'd be like, okay, he probably did the wrong thing. Yeah, I could see why he did it. I could see his rationale and everything.
Yeah. There's a bit like in season 3 where he like kind of scams these old people and turns like all of her like this one old lady's friends against her.
Yeah, but you see why he did it, and you don't think that it's going to have like a detrimental effect on the old people. Yeah. And then once he realizes that it did, he makes it right at enormous cost to himself.
So we should talk about the way this show works. The show is built around this guy. He's trying to become a successful lawyer. He goes through a lot of phases in his life and his path to success, and he struggles to figure out what he really wants for himself as a lawyer. And along the way, he does like some legally questionable things where he'll do like kind of these scam artist deals, and he'll like pull tricks and stuff
Yeah,
to
he
kind
pulls a lot of
to
tricks.
advance his agenda. And it's really entertaining to watch. But he has a brother, Chuck, who is Chuck. Yeah. Chuck is a very professional lawyer, really smart guy, a bit older than Jimmy, and he is like runs a very large law firm with another guy, Howard.
Yeah.
Howard Hamlin, and Jimmy. They do not let Jimmy into this law firm.
No, particularly Chuck.
So they're.
Well, I guess how much are we giving away here?
You know, just minor stuff.
Okay.
Like no, but yeah, like there's minor spoilers. It's still a great show. We're not going to spoil anything that's going to really like
quick trigger warning.
Yeah.
There might be minor spoilers, but nothing too big.
And Chuck has this disease where he's afraid of electricity or electromagnetic.
Allergic, I guess.
He's allergic to it, so he can't go outside.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of like moving parts with this relationship with his brother, who he loves.
Yeah, he always takes care of him despite his disease, etc.
Yeah,
does whatever he can to help out Chuck. Wants to make Chuck proud.
Yeah,
all those things.
Yeah, and then the other guy, Howard, who is the other partner at the law firm, is this kind of like slick, kind of sleazy, like suit type guy who just like talks like very quick and stuff. And he's like, Chuck, come on. Let's go. Jimmy, how you doing? And he's like,
Charlie Hustle.
I always called you Charlie Hustle. I always liked you, Jimmy.
Like that.
Yeah. And they're all just really entertaining to watch. You watch all these characters interact and stuff. There's a lot of depth to the relationships that even like Breaking Bad doesn't have. Because Breaking Bad obviously has some good, relationships with characters, but there's not a lot of like, you can't really like break it down.
Yeah, well, I think one of the big things that Better Call Saul has going for it is that there aren't that many main characters, I guess, or like
no.
Yeah, like you have Jimmy, Chuck, and Mike.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them
Kim.
And Kim. Kim is Jimmy's
there's like
love interest essentially.
We should talk about Kim too, because Kim is also really important, and she's like the one thing that kind of grounds. He's like one of his main motivations.
Yeah.
You can see that a lot of things he does either to impress Chuck or to impress Kim.
Yeah.
And you watch those things kind of like be at war with, like in his mind throughout the show.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And yeah, with the characters, I think there's like different groups of characters. You have like Jimmy, Howard, Chuck, and Kim, like the lawyer main characters. Then there's Mike, who interacts with Jimmy on occasions, but he has a separate storyline that's connected to like Nacho, who's which we'll also talk about. And there's the more like drug stuff that's more set up for Breaking Bad. But yeah, Kim, great character, really likable.
Yeah, interesting character, likable. Always does the right thing. Yeah, like for Jimmy, always wants the best for her, which is an interesting thing in it, because like you don't know why she's doing all these things. I mean, I guess it's just she likes him, whatever. But she always is willing to like get him out of trouble whenever he needs it, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. And it's like you're waiting for like a breaking point to happen.
And it may happen at some point.
It might. But she also does like getting involved in his like
she likes pulling tricks every now and then. She's like a little nervous but excited about tricks.
Yeah, and the further you go on the show, especially in season 4, you really see like, like she's having like an internal debate about whether or not she likes going along with Jimmy.
Yeah,
and it's fascinating. I'm really excited to see like how it ends. But let's talk about the other storyline, the Mike storyline.
All right.
Mike he's like the hitman type character, bodyguard, Gus guy from Breaking Bad, and he's in Better Call Saul, and he's fleshed out way more. You see more of his history, his personal life, his relationship with his granddaughter. He basically looks out for his daughter-in-law and his granddaughter because his son passed away prior to the events of the show.
Yeah.
And he's a very no-nonsense, tough guy who does whatever it takes. But he's such like a cool customer. Like nothing phases him.
No, he never really gets phased. He has always the same facial expression, or one or three facial expressions.
Yeah. And he's a dedicated worker too, which is why he attracted the attention of Gus, which is fascinating because Gus is he's kind of like this drug lord in the show, if you haven't seen either Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. But Gus is a very careful, unimpressed type person. Yeah. But he clearly respects Mike a lot because Mike is, Mike knows what he's doing. And you ask him to do anything, Mike will just be like, I'll be there.
Yeah.
He just kind of does things, and
it's interesting because he does kind of like toe the line, like the moral line.
Yeah.
But it's all to like make sure that his granddaughter is taken care of, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. He just wants. It's similar to, I guess, Walter White's motivation.
Yeah.
Is that Walter White starts cooking to make money for his family. Mike wants to, gets involved in criminal activity type work to provide for his family as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like a likable person too, and he has moments, especially where like he'll open up to his daughter-in-law about his son and stuff.
Big moments.
And really big moments. But he's just like a really, really lovable character who's it's weird because he's not like a teddy bear.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's lovable in a sense. He's not like, you're not like, oh, I'd love to hang out with that guy type thing.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, I respect him.
Yeah, you respect him a lot, and he's probably impossible to hate.
Yeah. Very difficult to hate.
Yeah, because I don't remember my reactions to him initially when he first showed up in Breaking Bad. Mostly because, like, in my mind, it's been a while since I've seen Breaking Bad, but like everything that happens in Better Call Saul is like immediately what I think of when I think of Mike and Jimmy.
Right.
Like I almost barely remember what they do in Breaking Bad. So, but all I know is like when I think of Mike, I'm like, oh yeah, what a legendary character. Yeah. But they're with Mike's storyline, they also go into some really interesting stuff with the cartel and stuff, and they introduce this character Nacho, who is another legend.
Certainly.
Yeah, because in Breaking Bad, every time they have these cartel characters, they're always just like bad guys. They're psychopaths. You're scared when you see them. But Nacho, he kind of starts out that way, but he has a lot more internal conflict going on because he has his dad, who runs a car shop, right? And his dad is like a straight arrow, doesn't want to be involved in crime stuff, doesn't want his son to be involved in crime stuff. But so Nacho's always looking out for him, and sometimes he'll go against the gang to an extent to protect his family.
Definitely. Yeah, he's another weird character because like he has this humble upbringing from his dad as a car shop guy, sweetest guy around, salt of the earth guy. But Nacho, I guess, and you don't really see how he initially got involved in this drug gang. No, but I guess he got caught
probably
up.
Young age.
Yeah, he got caught up with these guys, and that's just kind of like his life at this point.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's not something that you can just like get in for a couple of years and then pop out of.
Yeah,
like, once you're in, you're in.
But yeah, the thing is, he's also very, he's kind of like Mike in the sense that he doesn't really like flinch.
Yeah,
like when you first see him, he'll just be very tough. He'll be standing there like this. But there's a great scene where he, you see him go into a drug deal, and he's like the boss wants him to take like an extra like pound of cocaine or something like that. And there was almost a big shootout, and like Nacho like kept his cool and stuff. But you saw like as he was walking away, you see like fear in his face. You can tell he's just like very scared, but he's a good job of like maintaining his composure.
Good poker face.
But you can tell, like, I think the actor Michael Manda does a great job of like showing like emotion in the very slightest ways, so you know what the character's thinking.
Yeah.
He's not just like some stoic like Mexican cartel guy. He's got a lot of depth to him, and he's an interesting one. I'm excited to see where his story goes because he's not in Breaking Bad at all.
Right.
And neither is Kim.
So Kim and Nacho are not in Breaking Bad, so something must happen to them. Yeah,
and they're characters that feel like connected to the story of either like the drug people or Jimmy, that they should be in Breaking Bad, but they're not. So it's interesting to figure out what happens. And the show also, like, it doesn't always feel like setup, especially the first 3 seasons. Season 4 gets into it a little more. We're setting up for Breaking Bad, but it stands alone on its own so well, which is why I think it's the greatest prequel or spin-off, like, period. In
Ever.
TV history.
I don't know, like, what are some other spin-offs?
Spin-off TV shows? Like, I don't know, like Frasier. Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah. Does that have any of the characters from Star Trek in it?
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know Star Trek that one.
I don't
no Trekkie.
And I know people love The Next Generation, but like, come on, like that's just Star Trek's like an episodic, like you get one after the other. It's a fun.
Well, it's
thing.
from a long time ago. It's a different era of television.
It's from, what, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no like spin-off TV show on that like level of dramatic quality that I've seen that can really be equated to this.
No, it's definitely one of the better TV shows I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
which is cool because it's a spin-off. So they were able to do something like really great with something based on a character in a show. Who like I haven't seen Breaking Bad, but I imagine he's got an important role, but he's not a crucial character. So they probably didn't develop him that much during Breaking Bad. So
they give you the opportunity to see that.
Yeah,
and it's also tonally different too. Like it's almost funny at times. It's like Breaking Bad can be like dark comedy in some ways if you want to think about it like that. But Better Call Saul is a lot more lighthearted and stuff too.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't just feel like, oh yeah, they did Breaking Bad in a lawyer environment. Like no, they actually did something new and special. It has a lot of Breaking Bad isms, but it really feels like its own thing, and it's kind of incredible.
It is definitely kind of a fun show to watch at times.
Yeah,
I think like at least in the Jimmy storyline, like the stakes are lower than Breaking Bad, right? Like he's a lawyer who, if he does something bad, it's like, I don't know, like he's selling cell phones on the streets to drug dealers or something like that. Like that's a little bit of a bad thing to do, perhaps, but it's not like a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, the stakes are much higher in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Especially because it's just like he's hiding this secret from his family that he's making drugs. He's got a brother-in-law who's a DEA agent. Like it's
there's this like stress, like this like
there's a tension over everything that's going on, which Better Call Saul doesn't have. There's no like premise that always has you like on edge, but it just has such fantastic writing and a storyline that it like keeps you engaged.
Yeah, no, it definitely draws you in. You're more like interested in this like guy and his development, like where he's gonna go, and even like if you haven't seen Breaking Bad and you watch Better Call Saul, like it was the case for me. I knew that he was going to be Saul Goodman at some point. I knew that he was eventually going to be a lawyer for a drug dealer, etc.
Yeah.
So I knew that he had to develop throughout. So you can kind of like, you want to see how he gets there because he doesn't start out like that. The first scene, he's like comes into this court scene and he's just this like horrible lawyer.
Yeah.
Just has no idea what he's doing.
Says a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, says a bunch of nonsense.
Defending kids who had like, who were definitely going away for a very long time. There's nothing he could do.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic. There's a great progression and it changes with each season. I love it. But I guess in terms of the other show I wanted to mention that could be a contender for best on TV is Fargo, which is my favorite show, but it's a mini series, and it's like each season's its own thing. I probably talked about it before on here, but because it's a mini series, like I don't feel like it's constantly on TV. It's just like they make a new season when they want to and stuff because it's like they're starting over each time. So it doesn't. It feels a little different than like your Game of Thrones and your Better Call Sauls, where it's like you're getting more of the same story each time. So that's why Better Call Saul is the best show on TV.
I haven't seen Fargo, but I'm definitely more of like a storyline that goes across seasons kind of guy.
And you get that in Fargo, but you just get it for 10 episodes.
Yeah, so I like to have like the multi-season because I like to get used to the characters.
Yeah, that's true.
And see them develop, see them grow up.
Yeah, see them grow up. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? This was productive. I hope everyone who's watched this and has not seen Better Call Saul, get on it. Even if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, like just watch this first. I don't care. Or
do what you gotta.
I mean, you should probably see Breaking Bad also, but Better Call Saul is very, very special, and I don't think it's getting enough credit. Like,
you don't hear about it really.
Yeah, it reviews well. Like it has good ratings, but it's not the runaway success that Breaking Bad was in its final season. So help it get up there. Because you got to be watching this show. It's pretty great. You got it. It's pretty great. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Teddy, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
me,
as always.
Breaking down this amazing show. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep tuned in because there's some big guests coming up. Sorry, Teddy.
No, that's fine.
No, we got an exciting month of March coming up. So, yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.